A couple of years ago, I went to buy a luxury car. Now, the brand I was buying is a brand when people are done with all the German luxury brands and then they come to this brand. So you know that this is not going to be a daily driver. This is going to be one of those cars that's going to establish a status symbol. The thing that went wrong was that the salesperson that was selling me the car was using all the typical sales techniques that one would use to sell a car that was just going to get me from point A to point B, rather than selling me a luxury car that was going to be a status symbol and that was going to be a dream car of mine. I needed to be spin sold, and yet she was using all the typical techniques you would normally see in a bookshelf where you're going to buy sales books from. So I picked up the phone, called an out-of-state dealer and said, I want this car, this is the price I'm getting it, can you send it to me? And they did. I could have just walked and gotten it from my dealer, but I was just so tired of them selling it to me in a wrong way that I didn't want to deal with it. It was very frustrating. I needed to be spin sold. Hi, I'm Gulraj Shahpuri. I'm a business coach and a leadership trainer. I'm also a Marshall Goldsmith SSC coach, a Gallup Strengths coach, an NLP practitioner, a DISC specialist, and an ICF coach. Wouldn't you agree with me that nobody in life likes to be sold to? Because people can smell a sales pitch a mile away. Yet it was Stevenson, the author and the poet, who said everything in life is selling. I'm going to teach you a sales technique that's going to work each time, every time, because it's not going to make you nervous. Your success rate is going to go through the roof because it's going to be the right pitch for the right situation. Once again, it's called spin selling, and you're going to become a pro at this in the next couple of minutes. So let's put 2 minutes on the clock, and I'm going to tell you what SPIN stand for and why I would have actually bought that car had I been spin sold. If you're in a business where you're selling high value items or luxury items, or you're in that type of selling process where the relationship is super important and it takes you weeks, if not months, to actually build a relationship and sell to the person, you're in a complex sales environment and you cannot use conventional selling methods because they won't work. You need to use spin selling. SPIN stand for situation, problem identification, implication, and need payoff. Let's talk about each of them for a second. In situation, you're trying to do the right type of questioning that every book teaches you. Every sales book says, ask honest questions, get to the bottom of the problem. You're going to ask questions like, so what is the situation so far? Or how are things coming along for you? Ask questions from the heart, sincerely, and try to frame the problem into one sentence. In P, problem identification, you're going to dig a little deeper. Once again, you're going to ask questions, but now you're going to ask questions that are probing. You're going to ask questions like, why is this a problem? Or how is this resulting in low sales? Or had it been better before? What has been going wrong? Where do you think the system is breaking down? And let the client get to the problem as deeply as they can. In implication, ask about the consequences of the problem that exists. Do this with the customer, and even ask about, what if this problem did not exist? You can ask questions like, what would be the overall size of the market opportunity if you had been doing better? Or you can ask questions like, what do you quantify the losses of this overall situation because this problem exists? In need payoff, you're going to get their interest like nobody has ever gotten their interest. You're going to ask them interesting questions like, what would your personal life be if you had actually done that in your professional life? And refer back to the questions you had created before. You ask the question, what part of that overall market would you like to stake your claim at? After SPIN are done, now you go in for the closing techniques. You can see all sorts of sales books in any bookstore that talk about closing techniques. Imagine half of them even have the name closing in the title of the book. You're not going to use those terrible techniques. You're going to use one or two that you normally use, get comfortable with them, because at this point, you don't need to close the client wants to close you. That's it, time's up. Now you know why that salesperson would have never been able to sell me the car, because I was at an ultra luxury dealership and she was trying to sell me a car that would get me from point A to point B. They didn't even have a car like that, yet those techniques were of selling a car like that. And now that you know spin selling, you're never going to feel underconfident about selling something, because you know there's a right type of salesperson and a right type of sales technique for a right type of situation, and you're going to be confident that you're going to get the sale each time, every time, and you're not going to be nervous because you're going to know while you go into the sale, you're going to create such a situation that the person is going to try to sell you why you should be able to sell to them. Now remember, SPIN. You're in a complicated sales environment more often than you think, and those are high value sales, which are very different than low value sales. For low value sales, use those books. Those techniques probably work. They don't work on high value sales and sales that are complex sales that require to build relationships first. In the comments below, let us know your favorite book on selling and what selling techniques you like to use. You're going to be helping out a lot of people who read those comments. As a next action, buy the book Spin Selling, download the audiobook, attend some programs on it, watch more YouTubes on it, and never sell the old way again. It doesn't work for every sale. Share this video with everybody on your team, because that way not only are you growing, but they're growing too, and your company is going to grow as well. And make sure you hit the like button if you like the video, and subscribe to the channel so you get more videos like this every Tuesday on 2 Minute Tuesday. I'm Gulraj Shahpuri, and I mean business.